next guest is going to help us keep track of what's going on in the economy. Parker Shepard from the Heritage Foundation on the James Show. Welcome, Parker. I believe it's the first time you've been on the James Show. We're used to the Heritage Foundation, but we always welcome new members. How's it going?
It's going great. I really appreciate you having me on. This is my first time on the show.
Yeah,
so I'm excited to be here.
I'm James Parker, and you're Parker Shepard. No relation.
None at all.
All right. So with what's going on in foreign policy, whether it's Iran, Russia, the Houthis getting bombed, or sending trained Aragua people to El Salvador, there's a lot of local stuff that's kind of getting looked over. And then when you do look at what's going on in America, there's a whole lot of Elon and Doge and Tesla getting a lot of attention. But what's going on with the economy? If the media is being so silent on the economy, I start to think, well, it must be doing pretty good.
Well, I mean, I think if you're following the news, it's really tough to keep up. I know President Trump has promised that he's going to have a blitz of activity in the first 100 days, and it feels like we've already blown through that. But I think we're coming up on 2 months now, and there's just so much that he's been going on and talking about, throwing up this kind of strategic ambiguity that he likes to do when he comes to negotiations. So, with the Houthis, he's talking about, like, hey, there will be consequences for Iran if they continue to disrupt the United States. On the trade side, he's doing the same thing. He's saying, hey, we want to have a reciprocal, free and fair trade relationship. We want to have a trading relationship where there's mutual benefit. The current situation is not working out for us right now, and people are kind of looking at and trying to figure out where is his actual position, which he kind of likes to keep close to his chest just because it helps him in negotiations to keep people guessing.
Well, I can understand that. Do we have an update on the price of eggs?
Eggs are down. I think they were national was like $3.50. They were, I want to say like $8.50. Way too expensive for me when I was going to the store the last time I checked.
Ooh, I never saw an $8.50 dozen eggs.
It was $8.50 around here where I am outside of D.C., which is pretty painful. But, I mean, price of eggs is basic supply and demand, where there was a question about avian flu, and the government came along and ordered farmers to get rid of a bunch of chickens. So when there are fewer chickens laying eggs, there are not enough eggs to go around, and that drives prices up. And, lo and behold, once you can get the government out of the market, farmers are going to respond to that incentive, and they're going to try to figure out how they can do everything in their power to get eggs back on the shelves.
Well, I see also energy prices are down, most notably at the pump. Gas prices are down. Is that something that could be sustained? Because that would certainly help the economy. Absolutely.
That's a major change in direction. What we've seen from the Trump administration compared to the Biden administration, where they were limiting the exploration of offshore oil and gas, putting in mandates that would get rid of the internal combustion engines and mandate a transition to electric vehicles. They were limiting the amount of energy that we could produce in the United States on climate change grounds. And the Trump administration has come in and they've said, no, that's absolutely not what we're going to do. The EPA has rolled back a bunch of regulations, and they say, look, it's not an either or, it's a yes and. We can take care of the environment and figure out ways to develop sustainably so that we can provide the energy that we need to power the economy into the 21st century.
Well, and if it is really that important, maybe you should stop setting Teslas on fire.
Yeah, that's the easiest bit of hypocrisy that we've seen coming out of the left.
That's a fun one, though.
Hey, you got to buy Teslas. You got to buy these electric cars. You have to have them. But, oh, by the way, once he steps out of the line that they want to enforce, then they start vandalizing and burning cars. And it just shows that it wasn't about the climate. It's about the control.
Yeah, you're literally a Nazi now. Well, let's play a little devil's advocate. The unemployment rate did tick up to 4.1% from 4.0. We did kick a whole lot of people out of the labor force rolls. There's talk that we could have, a contracting GDP for at least this first quarter. What credence do you give to the negative aspects of the economy?
I mean, you can't entirely dismiss them. There's certainly a possibility of a downside. I think what we've seen for the last several quarters has been just kind of a stalling economy. You could go back to 2022. There were 2 quarters in a row of contracting GDP, which met the technical definition for a recession, but it was never declared by the NBER, and there was slow growth that occurred after that, and it's basically been the unemployment rate has bottomed out, slowly turned back up, but it's never collapsed. So we're not seeing something where there are these massive layoffs in the job market, but we are seeing a lot of people staying put. The opportunities that were there in COVID and post-COVID, where people were jumping and getting 7 and 8% pay raises, they're not as plentiful, and they're looking down at 4 or 5% pay raises and keeping the jobs that they have. So it's okay. It could be worse.
All right, Parker Shepard, Heritage Foundation. Thanks for being on the James Show and talking about the economy for a minute.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. All right. Hey, I meant to tell you earlier, I have jury duty tomorrow. Now, the last 2 times I've gone to jury duty, it goes like this. I show up and you have to introduce yourself and where do you live and then what's your job? And so it goes to me. I'm James Parker. I live in Bug Tussle. And I'm a talk radio host. And immediately the lawyers laugh. They're like, get out! Get out! And then they chase me with a cattle prod all the way into the parking lot when they find out what I do for a living. So tomorrow morning I may be laughed out of the room again and do a show tomorrow. Or you may have a substitute in my stead. But don't send me a whole lot of messages. Dude, did you get fired? Mom? No, all of you. So, and also the James Show meetup, the next listener meet and greet, is happening a week from tomorrow. Plano Sports Tavern. So that'll be March 25th, 7 p.m. Plano Sports Tavern. It's at Parker and Custer. Your phone knows where it's at. But I'm compiling giveaways. People are just going to bring stuff and give it to other people, I guess, because I'm not bringing stuff to give away. So for more details on that, go follow me on social media. I'll keep you updated on that. One of the big ironies, and it just got mentioned in the last segment there with Parker from Heritage Foundation, was the irony that Elon Musk is considered to be so evil, literally a Nazi, destroying the country. We got to get him out of here. Got to do something about this guy. When he was a hero just 10 years ago, when he was one of the guys that was praised more than any other. But also, whether or not you like the guy himself, maybe he is just a terrible person. But if you're a person that believes in man-made, apocalyptic climate change, then Elon Musk really should be your Jesus. No one has done more to reduce the carbon footprint of planet Earth than Elon Musk. No one has put more electric vehicles on the road with no emissions than Elon Musk. Not only have all other electric car companies failed, but was it last year or year before last? The Tesla Model Y, I believe, was the top selling car on the planet. Not electric car. Like it beat the Toyota Corolla. It beat the Ford F-150. So if you really do think that the production of CO2 by human sources is going to destroy the world, then you should put Elon's politics aside for a minute and still hold a high regard. You shouldn't be burning Teslas to the ground. You should be maybe saying, can we sell the company to another guy, or can we get another CEO or whatever? But you wouldn't be burning them. Well, the question is, do they really believe in that whole climate change stuff, or was this all about control? Parker Shepard from the Heritage Foundation just threw that out there. It wasn't ever about the climate. It was about control. Control how you get from point A to point B. And you're right, the government loves controlling how you get from point A to point B, whether it's an electric car or whether it's a bike lane or a DART bus or a DART train. Just anything but you owning your own car and deciding when and where you want to go at all times, I suppose. Unless it's electric and they can cut off the electricity whenever they want, or they can turn off the car whenever they want. Is that what it was about? Well, CBS over the weekend did a story where we just got 10 more years of climate change. It's hang on a second. We hear this every 5 years. You've got 10 more years left. It's like a sense of urgency, like a sales pitch. Have you ever been in a sales training for some job? Whether you've been a waiter or working at an auto parts store or a sales rep for, I don't know, a radio station. That's one of the sales tricks is you put in a sense of urgency. You put a timetable. That's why they tell you, this offer is good until the end of the day. Or I'll give you this quote and it's only good until Friday. Gives you a sense of urgency. Call now for your free reading.
I think the biggest risk is that we have a small window to deal with climate change, really. I mean, it's getting smaller and smaller, less than 10 years to sort of level out and reduce our emissions. And we had and have currently a lot of rules that deal with that. To throw those all out would undo a lot of progress that's been made to try to reach these new standards for our country and for the world. And we will lose our opportunity to really get ahead of this problem or even stay current with the problem.
We've already spent $2 trillion on all these green energy projects, on windmills, on solar panels, on electric cars, on batteries, on sequestration, on all kinds of green ideas. And we're still facing catastrophe 10 years down the road. Don't buy it. It's not believable anymore. How many times can Lucy put the football in front of Charlie Brown and he still try and kick it? If you really were against this, if you really did think it was 10 years we had left, you wouldn't be setting Teslas on fire, or you would be running a companion story. Yeah, we have 10 years left, so stop setting electric cars on fire. Stop wanting Tesla to go out of business. It's the only electric car company that turned a profit for 1 second of history. So, yeah, look, that's one of the things that definitely solidified when I was coming out of college and just figuring out what I was in the real world. The collapse of the enviro scare narrative is one of the things that woke me up and said, well, if they're lying about this, I see that pattern about all these other things that they're probably lying about. And it really is. It really is all about control. You wouldn't behave this way if you were really concerned about the climate. You wouldn't be buying multiple mansions on the beach if you thought the seas were going to rise on you in the next couple years. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, we're playing Dead or Alive for 2 tickets to see Boyz II Men April 19th. If you want to try and win Boyz II Men tickets, call in 800-288-9227. Play Dead or Alive. I'll list 10 celebrities. You have to tell me if they're dead or alive. And today's category is 90s musicians. Dead or Alive next on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Bob Lavelle, Home Marketing Services, is the guy that you need to think of first. You need to remember the name Bob Lavelle, because if you're trying to buy a house right now, you need to go ahead and call him like yesterday. But if tomorrow, a month from now, whatever, next job transfer or raise that you get, you want to get out of the rent race and get into a house, this is the guy you call, Bob Lavelle. Now, why do they need to call you, Bob?
Well, I think after we've gone through this for, 30 years now, I think we have a pretty good handle on what we're doing. And what we're doing mostly is finding people that did not call. They continued renting, and they've been doing so for 5 or 10 years. But if they would have called, they would have found out, over 20,000 of our customers have. You can qualify, you can do things, you can get from A to B, but you need to have a map, or at least a roadmap of how to get there. And that's what we provide when people come in.
From the first call to handing them the keys to the front door, how long should they expect that to take?
If there was just an average, so let's take somebody that's actually got pretty good credit. They've saved a little for a down payment. They're not tied into a lease. They're ready to go. You're locking 2-3 weeks. They're in a home. If they have those other issues, we work it around those issues, or sometimes they have a few bumps and bruises on credit that need to be adjusted.
Well, I love hearing your stories, Bob. You can be the next one. 972-392-9595. 972-392-9595. Bob has blessyourheart.com, or call 972-392-9595. Thanks, Bob.
Have a great one, James.
I love this part of the show because I'm giving away some good tickets today. Boyz II Men tickets on today's episode of Dead or Alive. If you're new to the show, Dead or Alive, it's our easier of the game shows. I'm going to list 10 celebrities, usually in a category, and all you have to do is guess if they're dead or alive. Whoever is left standing at the end of the list, I'll just cycle through callers. If they get it wrong, I'll move to the next one. Whoever is left standing at the end of the list, they get 2 tickets to see Boyz II Men. So that's easy. And look, if you want to play, we have one spot open. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. But you can just play along in your car or at work. All right, today's episode of Dead or Alive. Go. All right, thank you, Mr. Jovi. Welcome to Dead or Alive. I'm your host, James Parker. Today we're playing for 2 tickets to see Boyz II Men at WinStar World Casino and Resort on April 19th. Get tickets and information at winstar.com. Today's category, 90s musicians. We're going to start with Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie in Midlothian. You ready to play Dead or Alive?
I want to go last. I want everybody else to mess up and then I win.
You know what? How about Stephanie just invented a pass? You'll pass, okay?
Woo!
All right. How about that? We can do passes now. Stephanie invented it. I like it. Zach and Alan, are you willing to go first? Or you want to go or you want to pass?
Ooh, man, how many people are in line? Can I ask that?
Well, I think Jimmy just added in. So there was 4, maybe 5, depending on if Garrett screens this dude.
Heck, let's just go for it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Started.
All right. So in our 90s musicians list, we're going to start with Whitney Houston, dead or alive?
Dead.
Yeah, she died like 15 years ago. Eazy-E from NWA, real name Eric Wright. Is he dead or alive?
Dead.
Yeah, he died in 1995. Scott Weiland, the lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots. Is he dead or alive?
That gentleman is alive.
No, Scott Weiland died in 2015, sir.
No.
I know. Heroin's a hell of a drug. Hang on. Let's go over to Richard and Richardson. Oh, my God. They named the town after you. All right. You ready, Richard?
I'm ready.
Do you get a lot of grief for being Richard and Richardson?
Look, I usually call in and give a fake name, but today I used my real name, and yes, that's why I don't give it.
Love it. All right. I'll never make that mistake again, but it is kind of funny. All right. Kurt Cobain, lead singer of Nirvana, dead or alive?
Deader than Epstein.
Yeah, he's halfway decomposed by now. He died in 1994. Chris Cornell, lead singer of Soundgarden, dead or alive?
Dead.
He is dead. Rapping legend Tupac Shakur, dead or alive?
I don't know, Big. Yeah, he's dead too.
Yeah, I had to think about it. WBAP audience is iffy on their Tupac biography. The lead singer of Alice in Chains, his name is Lane Staley. I'm just going through the top 10 bands or top 10 musicians of the 90s. I'm not purposely picking all these people. Lane Staley, dead or alive?
Lane Staley. He's dead.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, Richard and Richardson, all of them have been dead so far. 90s is kind of a...
I've totally noticed that, so can I stop right now and pass? No.
Oh, you can pass. Do you want to pass? Is that your final answer?
No. I
Okay.
want to stop.
Okay.
I'm seeing a trend.
Okay. Billy Corgan, he's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, dead or alive?
He's alive.
Oh. Lead singer of Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, dead or alive?
9 Inch Nails. I'm going to have to guess. He's alive.
He is alive. All right, and finally, for the Boyz II Men tickets, boy, Stephanie's really regretting her past at this point, isn't she?
I know it.
From the Wu-Tang Clan, Old Dirty Bastard. His real name is Russell Jones. Is he dead or alive?
Old Dirty Bastard?
Yes.
He is dead.
He is dead. All right. Richard and Richardson. Maybe using your real name helps, sir.
All right.
All right, are you wanting to get these Boyz II Men tickets, or should I give them to someone else? It's yours to keep or pass.
Yeah. Yes, I would like them.
Heck yeah, that'd be sweet. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
When are they going to be in town?
April 19th.
Where are they?
April 19th, WinStar World Casino and Resort.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good place to go.
Yeah. See him do Motown Philly and Water Runs Dry and End of the Road and Yesterday. So, yeah. Richard and Richardson just won 2 tickets to see Boyz II Men at WinStar World Casino and Resort April 19th. For the rest of us, we got to get tickets at winstar.com. This has been the 90s musician edition of Dead or Alive. All right, for my own edification, Stephanie, what do you think about your past now?
Well, I'm really sad now.
I know. You invented something, though. This is the Stephanie rule.
I'll take that, but I'm mad at Richard. So
I know. Wouldn't you rather have Boyz II Men tickets than Richard's?
I would definitely.
Yeah, than Richard's Goodwill. All right, thank you very much. And happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing a green shirt today. Are you wearing your green? Did you get pinched? Yeah. Do you have any Irish in your heritage? I have some Irish going back. I have a couple of lines back to the old country. The O'Byrnes, the Gallahans, the McCluskeys. And it's a fun story for my family. I don't know if most families do this. I don't think they do. But there's a book that was written by like one of my great aunts, and it was about the guy that came here from Ireland, and he had to leave Ireland because he was protesting against the British, the Redcoats, in a rebellion, and he had what? Illegal guns. They had gun control. The British were putting gun control on the Irish, and he had illegal guns. It's like, oh, damn it, I already loved him. You don't have to sell him to me. So, yeah, then he ended up coming over to New York. He didn't like it very much up there, so...
New York City!
Well, damn. Apparently he is related to me. Then he went to New Orleans for a while. Thought, I need to go back to Texas. And he ended up in Texas. So, like, this guy that existed in, like, the 1860s and 70s kind of followed the same mores and values I do. Not a big fan of New York City, but I have been there for work. Didn't stay long. I did do New Orleans for a while, but ended up feeling just right at home in East Texas. Luckily, I was born here and I didn't have to get on a boat to come here. But yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all you Irish and non-Irish people out there. For some reason, when you put green food coloring in beer, it does taste about 5% better. I have no explanation for that. Got an email here. This is Tony in Watauga. When we were talking about the irony of all the upset lefty people torching Tesla because, you know, they used to be for the environment. And in fact, you have to do this to save the environment or we're all going to die. And now that it's politically inconvenient, no, we're going to set these cars on fire instead of subsidize them and try and force them on everybody and tell you it's the car of the future. Now it has to burn. Well, look, Tony's saying something that I think you probably understood and most people understand, but it's still worth mentioning in case a few people didn't. He says, James, all electric cars do for the environment is they shift the bad carbon production to places we don't care about as far as being green. Where does the electricity come from to charge the car? Either from a coal-fired power plant or a diesel-fueled charging station. The car itself may not produce emissions, but the charging station does. And the power plant sure does. And don't even consider the amount of carbon emitted in the extraction of the minerals needed to produce the batteries. No. I totally agree with all that, Tony. But that's not what they say. They're the ones that say, you got to drive these electric cars. We need to switch to electric cars. We're banning. It's, in fact, fuel cars are so dangerous for the environment. California banned them. They can't have any new ones after 2035. And Joe Biden wanted to do the same. They want to ban gas-powered cars. That's how important it is. So it's not what I think, and it's not what you think, Tony, and most of the people listening. It's what they've been telling us. They're the ones that have built this lie that, oh, man, we've got to switch to electric cars or we're all going to die. And they're the ones that aren't even living up to their own lie. But no, you're making a good point. And by the way, I wish I had your last name because then I could use it in radio. It sounds like a bad word. Actually, it sounds like two bad words squished together. So I'm not going to say it on the air. But hilarious. I wish that was my name. So jealous. All right, the James Show meet and greet. Coming up a week from tomorrow, Plano Sports Tavern. We're not going to have any official entertainment options there, but we will have some giveaways. I might go try and raid the prize closet here, see if I get some WBAP swag. But some listeners have reached out and they're like, "Hey man, I sell Trump t-shirts. Can I just give you a couple to give away at the event?" I'm like, "What do you mean give them to me? How about you come to the event and you give them away your damn self?" And so for some reason, like 3 or 4 people said that over the weekend. So there's going to be giveaways there. But it'd be nice to come out, meet you, do a handshake, have a beer. You can meet some of the other people who are like-minded, and it'll be a good time. Plano Sports Tavern, March 25th, 7 p.m. If I don't get interrupted by jury duty tomorrow, let me tell you one thing that we're going to be discussing here. Jasmine Crockett, it's not that she's dumb or saying stupid things, embarrassing things. Look, she's our congressional representative here from where I'm sitting now. She does a good job on all of these media interviews, and that's why she keeps going up the ladder. And this weekend, she was out there with, who was she with? Jake Tapper? Yeah. But this wasn't from Jake Tapper's, though. This is Jasmine Crockett.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally.
Let it. Say that again.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally.
Is there anything you can do illegally that's not criminal? It's just a fun sentence. But there's a wider conversation that will be born out of that discussion. I just wanted to sort of whet your appetite. Coming up next, Mark Levin is going to be on WBAP. In the meantime, if you need more James Show action, go check out the podcast, WBAP.com and the WBAP app. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.